As a media specialist, my role involves facilitating learning through various media resources. I evaluated my pedagogical strengths and weaknesses, explored caring behavior in the classroom, assessed my competence in a culturally responsive teaching, and outlined future professional development goals. One of my key strengths lies in creating engaging and interactive lessons. I incorporate multimedia elements such as videos, infographics, and interactive websites to enhance student learning. There are many fun sources to choose from, such as Brain Pop Trivia for elementary school students and designing projects on Canva for middle school and high school students. And for instance, during a recent lesson on digital literacy, I used a visually appealing infographic to explain online safety practices from a template made on Adobe Creative Suite. Students responded positively and actively participated in discussions after the presentation. I excel in designing authentic assessments that align with learning objectives, rather than relying solely on traditional tests. I encourage project-based assessments since I found that students working with hands-on assignments rather than basic writing produces better results. For instance, I assigned students as a media production project where they had to create a podcast or video on a social issue. This approach allowed students to apply their knowledge and develop critical thinking skills. I was able to help them with editing in the classroom and gave advice outside class hours. Now, in spite of all that was presented, there are some areas that do need to be adjusted for my own sake. And one area for improvement is classroom management during media production activities. Sometimes students become overly excited, leading to noise disruptions, causing irritation among other students. To address this, I plan to implement clear guidelines and establish routines for collaborative work. Outside class hours, I am open to fun discussions not necessarily related to classwork, but once the bell rings, students are expected to listen and work. No ifs, ands, or buts. While I emphasize formative assessments, I need to improve my feedback process. Providing timely and specific feedback is crucial for student growth, even though each student may need to be addressed on a certain issue differently. I plan to explore peer feedback strategies and use rubrics effectively to guide student self-assessment. But then there's also the factor of caring behavior is being essential for building positive relationships with students. I demonstrate care by actively listening to their concerns, celebrating their achievements, and showing empathy. For instance, when a student struggled with a project, I offered additional support during outside class hours, emphasizing their progress rather than the final grade. I also recognize the impact of cultural factors on student learning. During a lesson on media representation, I encouraged discussions about diverse perspectives. However, I need to deepen my understanding of cultural nuances to better address students' unique backgrounds. It should be evident on day one that each student has their own perception on class routines, so I need to make sure that I can respectfully interact with each student to deepen their outlook on how things are run in the class and focus on the tasks at hand. This leads into my effort to enhance cultural responsiveness for the students. To that end, I will incorporate appropriate diverse media content such as films, literature, etc., obviously school appropriate, that reflects various cultures and encourage students to explore media representations across social identities when the timing is right for classroom activities. Reflecting on my teaching practice has highlighted areas for growth. By addressing weaknesses, embracing caring behavior, and fostering cultural responsiveness, I aim to continually improve as a media specialist. My commitment to professional development will ensure that I provide the best learning experiences for my students while maintaining confidentiality and respecting privacy. Thank you so much for watching this presentation. It took me a very long time to be able to memorize and personally be able to give a formal oral presentation on these subject matters. I want to make sure that I could use this as the basis for when I get into an actual teaching environment so that I could utilize what I've learned from my time as a media specialist intern into my time as a full-fledged associate media specialist teacher or being a professor of video production. This presentation is supposed to sort of like be in a mix of both the knowledge of a media specialist and the skills of a video production major from college. I want to emphasize that I can I'll be able to work with both ends. I do apologize if I don't have any specific actual recorded video, as I wasn't really allowed within the internship to be able to oversee my own class. But I have helped out with lesson plans and students under the mentor supervision. So I'm hoping that what I have here is sufficient enough to give adequate material for the assignment at hand. But to that end, I've greatly enjoyed the internship, and I've greatly enjoyed my time overseeing the practices that media specialists are best known for. But thank you so much for taking the time to watch this video, and I hope everything works out in the end with getting into a full-fledged associate's positions with the school system. Yep, thank you so much for taking a look at this, and have a good one.